All right. Hello, hello. If you are joining me, please put your name in the chat so I know who you are, or go to the link at the top. It tells you where to go so that when you put your name in, oh, my glass is crooked. You put your name in, then I can see who you are if you decide to make a comment. Okay. Again, go and put your name in, or I don't know. Into hello, hello. I see your comments, but I don't know who you are. But hey, beautiful to you too. Um, I need to know who y'all are. Hey, Cherie. So everything says oh,
I didn't get that.
everything's Siri. I'm not talking to you. Everything says Facebook user, so I won't know who you are, and if you put your name, put your comment along with your name every time, unless you go and put your name up in the by the link. So I'll know. So right now I see Sharice. Hey Sharice. I see Omni Odori. Annette, welcome. Hi Anita. Leslie, I have your name is in there. Thank you. And Latanya. Hey Latanya, how are you? So y'all, we are back from Ghana and I am Afi Selassie. That is my name that I got when I was in Ghana. We went through the whole ceremony and received our names. Hey, Georgette. So I am Afi Selassie. Afi is because I'm born on a Friday, and Selassie means God heard my prayers. So I appreciate that name. I like it. I don't know if I'm going to change my name. I don't know, but I like it. So, and I am wearing my kente cloth that I got on the trip. Oh, is that a string hanging? I'll fix that. It's a string on my cloth, yeah. We fix that. Anyway, I learned how to wrap it real quick on YouTube University. And it's a long strip that I can actually use as a table runner or to wear on my head. There's so many different ways to wrap it, and I like it. It's pretty. And I have on my caftan from Morocco, but it just happens to match. And I'm feeling very Afrocentric today. Hi, Ricky. How are you? All right. So I'm going to get right to it, you guys. Lots of people have expressed interest in going to Ghana. We just got back on the 8th, and there were 19 of us. We had a 9 or 10 day trip. Oh, you're using yours as a table runner. I had mine as a runner, and then I said, let me put it on. So I'm gonna have to wash it and press it and all that again, and get it back out on my table. But yeah, I love them. I love the colors. There's so many different ones too. I think all of the ones we got were different. So anyway, lots of questions about Ghana. Um, First, I want to say I think everybody should go. Everybody should go to at least some part of West Africa. Everybody who is from the African diaspora, you need to go to some part of West Africa, and get that feeling. I didn't get the feeling in East Africa. I'm not going to lie. The feeling that I got in West Africa, I did not get it in East Africa. Okay. Hi, Dorette. We visited Tanzania. I've been to Kenya before. It's been several years, but we visited Tanzania in 2021. And I remember people saying, welcome home. And it was such a great feeling. But there was something about being in Ghana that made me feel like, um, I want to say like I belonged. It gave me definitely a sense of pride to see so many of us owning things, owning businesses, not just working. It all actually started just with flight, like getting to the airport and being in the airport lounge. It was like just like a whole bunch of us. And I'm not used to seeing that. Living in the US, when I go to the lounge, I don't see a whole lot of us. And when I get on the flight and I'm sitting in business or first class, I really don't see us. But the flight was like 99% Black folks, African people, and Americans going to Africa. And it was really just us. And it was just a really different experience. So it started there. And then to get to the country, and it's just a continuation. It's just an amazing, amazing feeling. Hi, Pammy. How are you? All right. So I'm going to get to a few things about the trip, and I'm going to try to cover the things that I'm getting the most questions about, as well as things I'm thinking maybe you'll have questions about. Okay. Ah, thank you, Dorette. Then, Dorette, you are from West Africa, right? Dorette's telling us that West Africans have a warmer personality than East Africans. I found the people in Africa to be very warm, actually. But like I said, it was just a feeling of belonging more so, and more of a sense of pride in West Africa. That was my personal experience. Latanya, yes, you want to experience that. It's just like I compare it to like when you keep inviting somebody to church and they don't ever come, and you know what they're missing and they won't ever know what they're missing. It's like that. It's like I can't tell you how much this is going to mean to you when you do finally take that visit. Okay, so first thing I want to mention is getting a visa for going to Ghana is kind of a pain. It's not so easy like it is going to a lot of other countries. A lot of times you just show up and you show your passport and you walk on through. Sometimes you will apply for a visa ahead of time, and you'll get a passport photo and maybe fill out some documents and then go. This one is the most involved that I have experienced. And thank you to my assistant and best friend Gina for taking care of most of it for me, because it was an ordeal as far as I'm concerned. So you have to take a passport size. Okay, am I back? Oh my God, this is so annoying. I'm back. I hope I'm back if you're still here. I lost my internet connection. But anyway, as far as the visa, so you get the photo, you fill out the forms, you got to pay for some shipping, and then you take this package along with your passport and you put it in, right? And then they will get your visa, put it in your passport, and mail the package back to you. So that was the most involved visa application I have ever had to deal with. So just know that you gotta do that. And if you're traveling with us, Gina definitely helps out with that. Okay, she helps explain it to you and tries to help keep you calm through that process. And then people ask about vaccination. You will need to show proof of your COVID vaccine. You'll also need to send that in with the visa application, I do believe. Yes, honey, yes, mail your passport. So if you don't want to mail your passport, you don't. I didn't want to mail mine, but I wanted to go, so I had to get over it. Okay, yes, you mail them your whole freaking passport and trust them to get it back to you. So yeah, yes, Ricky, that is what you heard. Yeah, that's how it is. So but anyway, so for you have to get the yellow fever shot, okay? And you also have to show proof that you have had the COVID vaccine. Again, I do believe you need to send that proof along with the passport because they're not going to give you the visa without showing that. Okay. You missed the entire visa conversation. So this is being recorded, but briefly, you're sending them your passport, a passport photo, an application, and proof that you've paid for shipping so that they can ship the whole thing back to you. Okay, so that needs to be done a few weeks before the trip. Again, Gina, if you're going with us, Gina will assist you with that as much as she can. And then about the vaccine, you'll need to show them proof of COVID vaccine as well as take the yellow fever vaccination and show proof of that as well. Okay. All right. The flight, when you travel with us, we pick one location, we meet up there, and we go from there if there is a flight that we're offering. If we're not offering a flight, then we just tell you what hotel to meet us at. But for this trip, we are offering a flight and we will depart out of JFK. I'm going to go back here. Gina says proof of your COVID vaccine is uploaded as part of the visa application. That's what I was thinking. I was trying to remember. She could definitely tell you more about that whole visa application. I found it to be annoying, stressful. Yeah, I didn't like it, but we wanted to go, so we had to get it done. Okay. So your yellow fever vaccination, it lasts like I think forever. I don't think you have to get it again. I know it lasts several years, but I think you only have to get it once. So just have proof of that if you have had it, if you've taken that vaccine elsewhere. Just make sure that you have that proof. Good question there. Okay, so the flight, we fly out of New York, and I like that 11 p.m. flight. We did Delta, so we would like to do that again. We were cool with Delta going out at 11 p.m. It was either 11 p.m. or 11:55. Let me tell y'all, the party starts in the lounge. Okay, if you missed that, I mentioned it earlier. The party starts in the lounge. Bring your business cards. You'll, make some business contacts. If you're trying to date, maybe you'll find somebody you want to date in there. There's a bar in that lounge. It was like being at a club, to be honest. It was like Club Wakanda, and then we got on the flight. It was like Air Wakanda. It really was. Okay. Yes, the yellow fever shot does last a lifetime. Thank you, Facebook user. And then Ricky says, do you have to mail back close to travel, or can you do a couple months ahead? So I had a trip that I was taking in November, and I needed my passport. So I did not mail my passport in until December. Um, the visa should be good for like 3 to 6 months, I believe. Gina, let us chime in if you can answer this question a little better than I can, because y'all asking me stuff I hadn't even thought about. Great question. But I do believe you can send it in, a month or two ahead, or maybe even more. Glenisa was asking about the yellow fever vaccine. Hey, Glenisa. Oop, oop, somebody said, wait, hold on. Do not fly Ethiopian Air. Um, ooh, she said do not. Wow. Okay, Glenisa, please tell us more. I'm sorry, somebody just messaged me and I thought it was about our chat. That's something else. Oh, okay. Well, we do, like I said, we do Delta for this. Okay. She said, do not fly Ethiopian. I'm trying to remember why you said that because I kind of remember you saying that before. And Gina has answered you, Ricky. You can start the visa application a couple of months ahead of time. Again, if you need your passport, then yeah, do the visa application way early. It only took like a week for me to get it back, but I did a rush. I paid a little bit more to have them rush it back. Okay. Oh, so yeah, wait a minute. So Glenisa is saying, yeah, I remember you saying that about Ethiopia, but Glenisa, tell us about your experience with the flight because a lot of them have issues with bags. I flew Delta and I didn't get my bags when I came home. My bag was, for whatever reason, sent to San Francisco instead of Oakland. And then I have the bag tag. So I tracked it. I looked up and it was in Yosemite. I do not know why. Like, why? I did not get my bag until the next night at 1 a.m. They sent a email saying we're trying to deliver your bag. Of course, I'm not answering emails at 1 a.m. I looked at my security camera. They were literally in front of my house, but they didn't ring the bell. They sent an email. And then when I didn't respond, they drove off with my bag. So I didn't get my bag to the next day. Now that was with Delta. So but you're saying they lose bags often. Okay. So there you have it from Glenisa, her experience with Ethiopian Air. All right. Gina said the single entry visa is good for 3 months. So, wow, that's not very long. Yeah. So apply for that a couple of months ahead if you need to. And then the line for lost bags. Yeah. Okay. I feel you, Glenisa. I had that issue when we went to Morocco, but I think it was with British Airways. So that was kind of a hot mess. All right, Karen. Well, we are going in December, so I look forward to seeing you. Okay, so anyway, the flight. I'm trying to tell y'all the flight. I think that flight was 10 hours. Anybody remember? Because a lot of y'all who went with me are in this group. Believe that flight from New York to Ghana is 10 hours. It's overnight. It's a lovely flight, except it could be very bumpy, but that could be any flight. It's a nonstop. So that's the route that I recommend. And we got there at like 2 something in the afternoon. So that gave you the rest of the day to just kind of just chill. Now, let me tell you a little something about the weather and the air quality. The air quality from November to March, they have something, and I forgot the name of it. It happens from November to March, and it's where the dust and sand from the Sahara Desert is blowing over West Africa. So you get this haze. If you've been to Dubai or Los Angeles or maybe Francisco, even though San Francisco is more moisture, Dubai and Los Angeles is more smog, but it's similar to that. It's just this haze and it's just all day. Now, it can affect people who have allergies and asthma. For me, my eyes were watering, just tearing constantly. So for me, that was very, very uncomfortable. Anybody else want to speak on their experience with that? Um, I know we had some in the group who had allergies, but they didn't They didn't say anything to me about, how it affected them. But just be mindful of that if you do suffer with allergies, asthma. The November to March is that period, and you may want to go another time. We are having a summer trip, so if you want to join us, then you may want to go at that time. Okay. And the weather is hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's December, but it's still hot. And in June, it'll be hot. Um, if you've been to Atlanta in the summertime, to be honest with you, it's not that daggone hot. Okay. Atlanta from May to August is hell. And it was no comparison to that. Okay, just so you'll know. Thank you. Thank you. The Harmattan season in West Africa, okay, November to March. Harmattan, that's what it's called. And it's just this haze, and it just looks like Dubai. It just looks like cloudy, but dirty cloudy. Like, what is going on? So just know that no, we're not going this summer 2024. We're going December. That's our next trip. And then after that, uh, in the summer. All right. So you may want to wear biker shorts underneath your maxi dresses, just so that your thighs are not starting a fire. Okay, you don't want your thighs rubbing, and that could be miserable. So maybe have on some biker shorts or something, because them little chafing sticks, they're nice. The little I used to have one around here. I forgot what it's called. Let's see, I don't have it nearby, but these are the little things I used to give you guys when we go to New Orleans and you rub a little bit of it on your thighs. I think you're gonna need a little more than that. Okay. All right. That's the weather. What to wear? It's not a Muslim country, so feel free to show your elbows and your knees and shoulders and back and midriff if you want. That's your business. So yeah, it's not. Hi Rose, welcome. So yeah, it's not a Muslim country. The largest religion is Christian, and Muslim is next, and then the traditional religion, which for some reason they didn't even tell me the name of that religion. I really wanted to know more. But anyway, there's only like 13% of the population who still practice that religion, whatever it is called. If someone knows, feel free to share. Um, so yeah, it's just like here, you dress, wear what you want to wear. Okay. When we have some of our events, we do dress a certain way. We did the head wraps one day, and we had a white dress. We have different things that we do. And so if you're traveling with us, I will let you know well ahead of time, what outfits you want to wear for what themed events. But feel free to dress in bring lightweight packable clothing. And just be comfortable. Okay. The food is amazing. I still follow a vegan diet, which I think this is year 3 for me. And I was pretty much pleased. Not every single time. Sometimes I didn't have too much more than rice and plantains to eat. And I always like to have leafy greens. They did have salads, though. And I just chose not to get the salad on those couple times because it just didn't appeal to me. I didn't see enough okra. I would have loved to have seen much more okra, but I did get to have it once or twice. Um, there's lots of fish. I saw grouper is very big there. If you're from Florida, you're real familiar with grouper. It's a kind of a meaty and really good fish. They're big on tilapia, but they raise their own tilapia, so you don't have to worry about that toxic tilapia. Okay, y'all know the devil don't want y'all to get this information, but I'm gonna give it to you. All right. So the food is delicious, very flavorful. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is a hot mess. We're gonna have to fix that. But anyway, the food is so good, y'all. I came back and I made some dishes and I want to perfect it. I didn't get to take a cooking class this time, but I did get some good notes about the food. Black eyed peas, let's see what else. Lots of plantains. Avocado seems to be pretty plentiful there. In the morning, I saw a lot of fruit, a lot of pastries. I did see waffles. I think they do breakfast meats, but they also do European, British breakfast, like the beans, the baked beans. I saw that. Yes, the food is spicy, very flavorful. Everywhere I went, the food was so flavorful, um, and spicy a lot of times. Um, and there are so many restaurants, so many really nice fine dining experiences, good food, nice decor. And there are varieties, like there are sushi restaurants and Mexican restaurants. We went to a French restaurant one night, and like the food was just so flavorful. It's like, okay, this is different from when I go to a restaurant in France. This had just more seasoning. It really did. So yes, I was very happy with the food. And what else? Shopping is really nice. Okay. If you've been to Morocco, you might kind of compare it to that. Or Dubai, you might kind of compare it to the souk. They have these like it's like a craft market, I think they call it. And my only problem with the craft market there, the people who are selling are just really, I don't wanna say desperate, 'cause I wouldn't say desperate, but it's like it's almost like there's this mentality that they have to be, and I don't even wanna say aggressive, but it's like you feel like you're getting swarmed by people trying to get you to come into their booth and shop. And I mean, I've experienced this in Morocco and in Dubai and in other places, but not to this extent where it just felt so intense that I literally walked out a couple of times. I was just like, "I want to shop no more." It's too many people trying to approach me. That was the feeling I got. So, and those of you who went with me, or if you've been to Ghana, maybe you want to share how you felt about that. This was in Accra. We also went to one in Kumasi, and I didn't feel the same about the one in Kumasi, even though they were really, really trying to get you to come in. I think it's because the one in Accra is closed. So you're like going down these little avenues. And maybe I just started feeling too closed in. Hi, Barbara Bivens. How are you? How you doing? And Happy New Year. So that was kind of how I felt about the shopping in the village. Now, there was another place that's massive, and it's like the largest open air market in Accra, or maybe even in Ghana. I can't remember, but we stopped by there basically just to take a look and take pictures. And then I went in and thought I was going to buy something, and the guy was totally the opposite of the way they are in the artist market. Like he just like put what I wanted on the counter and just stood there, didn't open his mouth. And I was like, "Oh, bad customer service." So I just left. It was just the extreme opposite. And I think at that particular place, the really massive one, that one is more wholesale, so they don't get tourists there as much. So that one's, where those who are selling in their own stalls are coming there to get the items and resell. So maybe they don't deal with customers a lot. I don't know. Okay. I know you are, Barbara. Good to see you too. You're gonna love it. Is okay, question. Girls trip or can husbands tag along? So yeah, when I feel like for this particular trip, I would love for you to bring your partner because I want everybody to go to visit West Africa at least once. And we had a couple of guys that went with us on this trip. I'm sure they had a good time. They were young guys, like in their 20s. Um, but yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, yes. Okay. All right. And so what else about shopping? You'll want to bargain. You'll want to bargain. Definitely. Um, one thing I notice is there's this mindset that if you're coming from America, you're wealthy. So, you know, you may get prices presented to you that are higher than they should be. For me, it depended on what it was. It's like, okay, waist beads, for example. Maybe I can get the waist beads for $5. Maybe I can talk them down, or maybe I can just pay $10. You're being a blessing to the community there, whatever you decide to pay. So in some cases I just didn't bother to try and bargain low because it was just like, yeah, I probably could get you down, but I'm not going to even bother. So you kind of just use your own judgment for that. But one thing I didn't like, and I mentioned this was we were there during Afrochella, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And we encountered this gentleman who was apparently some part of, I don't know, he had something to do with Afrochella. I don't know what his title was. And we were trying to get into the VVIP section. So the VIP section was just less crowded. But we didn't know there was a VVIP. We were trying to walk in there and we didn't realize we weren't supposed to be there. So we found out, we were like, well, how do we get in? And because we could see in that area was sea, and it was just some pallets and crates and just to sit down. And this gentleman was like, okay, here's he had this like brochure, and he's like, oh, here's the price. Because it was so loud. And I looked and I was like, okay, 3,000 CDs. Okay, so that's $300. So I was like, y'all want to do it? And then he says 3,000 US dollars. And I was like, for what? And he's like, to get in there. And then he says, per person. So, yeah. So basically, like I said, there's this mentality that we are rich. So I was like, no, we're not trying to pay that. So he says, well, how many bottles will you buy? And I said, oh, I don't know, 2, 3. So he says, come on in, and didn't charge us anything. Okay. So we get in there and we're sitting on these crates or whatever. And so then these two ladies come up and they're like trying to make us pay. So I just turned around and just started dancing. I was just like, whatever, I don't even see y'all. I'm just going to enjoy the concert, right? And so they just kept hanging around, like waiting for us to pay. And I was like, I'm not paying because the dude with the badge let us in and we didn't pay. So whatever. And after maybe 5 minutes of these ladies walking away and coming back trying to get us to pay, finally I said, we'd like to order some drinks. So maybe it was a communication thing because once we ordered the drinks, they left us alone. I don't know. But anyway, so that was the beginning of our Afrochella experience. And about Afrochella. So we went a day before the group. Those who wanted to attend Afrochella went a day before the group. Afrochella was 2 days this year. Previously it had only been 1 day. This time it was 2. So our ticket included access for the 2 nights. I went the first night. I didn't go back the second night. And the reason is because I felt like I had experienced it enough. It was a lot of fun. The music was great, but for me, I didn't know too many of the artists, so it wasn't like with Essence Festival, you go the first night and you want to see, New Edition, and you go back the second night because you want to see Janet Jackson. So it wasn't like that. Like I didn't really know the artist. So I didn't have to go back. And I also felt like it was really not just Afrochella, but Accra in general is geared to attract the young crowd. And by young, I'm thinking like 20s. Like I just felt like a lot of things were, um, just set up to welcome the young people. So Afrochella in particular, that's how I felt. I mean, like there's nowhere to sit. Like you're there all day, all night, and there's nowhere to sit. And I think it started at like noon. We got there probably 9 or 10 p.m. It's still going on. The next night, some of the ladies went back, and the headliner, they left at 2 a.m., and the headliner still had not come out. So you're literally standing for hours and hours and hours if you go early. Maybe you can go and come back, leave and come back. I don't know. I didn't do that. We just once we left, we left. We took Uber there and back. Yes, they do have Uber. And Uber is a little different than it is at home, you guys. Uber is just any random car. It's not a nice car, new car. It's just a car. It gets you there. So just know that. Okay. And other than Afrochella, though, we had a great time. We went out one night. We thought we were going to a comedy show, and we found out we were going to a club. I thought it was a comedy show. It said Michael Blackson. I was like, oh, he's funny. I saw him not that long ago. We definitely want to see him. So we all got tickets, and we get there. We're on the way there, and I'm looking a little closer, and I'm like, y'all, I don't know if this is a comedy show. It was a nightclub, and it was, like I said, for the young people, right? So we get there, and it's like we get there at 9:45 because it said they opened at 9:45. Now, who gets to the club when the door open, right? So we get there. We're the only people there pretty much. And we are sitting around like, what we waiting on? When is the show gonna start? Eventually he shows up. He's the host of the party. We just kind of see him at some point over on the stage, but there was no comedy show. But we really had a good time. Like that we had a time last night. That's what we had. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say about that. You could really have a good time in Accra. Let's just leave it at that. Um, and we did visit Elmina and Cape Coast Castles. They are not that far apart, so we did a drive between the two on the same day. Um, the experience was not to be missed. I did Cape Coast. I didn't do Elmina bus for that one because I know I'm going back, but everybody else did do both castles. What I want to do is have a different tour guide though when we go back for the castle experience because I really want us to get a better understanding of that experience. So I'm working on that for the December group. And then we had our naming ceremony, which, like I told you, I am Afi Selassie, and everyone got their name based on when they were born. Your first part of the name is based on when you're born, and then the second part, the chief in the village who is coming up with your name to give you the second half of the name. We also visited the place where the enslaved people received their last bath before being auctioned off. So that was a really, touching experience to be there, to say the least. Um, one more thing I'm going to mention is when you take this trip, just know that it is a road trip. So you're going to be in your vehicle for a few hours at a time, getting from one city to the next. Um, for us, it was, I think our maximum trip was 4 hours. So it's not, like an 8 hour road trip. Okay. We had 2 hours or 3 hours or maybe 4 hour road trips. So just know, and the bus is pretty comfortable. So, and let me see what else. The funniest thing that happened on our one of our road trips was we stopped at where we had this stop like kind of in the middle of nowhere, and so it's like, what do we eat, right? So definitely bring your snacks. So we got out there, and our tour guide, he's like, you can get off here and get snacks, but I don't recommend, getting a hot meal from the restaurant here because it's like way out in the boondocks. And, he didn't know if he could trust the place, as far as the cleanliness. We're not locals. So nobody wants to get sick. So he's like, don't go in there getting rice or whatever. Just get some snacks, meaning, a pack of cookies or something. So why I go in there anyway? I want some French fries. And I'm like, because can't nobody mess up fries as far as, um, making them not clean. They going in the hot grease. That will kill anything, right? So I knew I was good there. So here go me and Pat. We gonna go get us some fries. So then here come a couple other people. They want some fries too. And then some more want some fries. So the guy says, well, how many want fries? And so we were like, okay, 8 people want fries. And then some more people. Next thing we know, they got 15 orders for French fries. So we're like, how much? So they said 30 CDs, which is $3. Now that I'm home and I'm thinking this through, $3 was ridiculous for some fries, y'all. Okay, so that's what I mean. They'll just throw a price on stuff and get you. So, I just said, hey, we just the community. Y'all just got a bus full of people coming through here to bless y'all. So, hey, $3, whatever. So, first they're like, okay, 5 minutes. So I was like, I know this ain't gonna be no 5 minutes. That's another thing. When you are getting food in Ghana, just know it's going to be 30 minutes to an hour. Okay, so don't go anywhere in a big hurry. So an hour later, here they come with our fries. They wrapping everybody's fries up in the in the plastic bag, and child, we opened them fries, and I'm not lying. It was about 6, maybe 8 French fries. So I know somebody probably got 10 or 12, but I feel like one thing I learned is they don't like to tell you no. They just don't want to tell you no. So instead of saying we don't have enough fries for all y'all, they made it work. Everybody got a taste of some French fries. Okay. They were good, but it was just taste. So that was just one little something that happened on our road trip that I thought was funny. But what else? And then there is tipping. Just so you know, um, people want to be tipped for every little thing. Right, the experience. Yeah, yeah. I couldn't even get mad because it was $3. I couldn't even get mad. I hope nobody else got mad. I don't think anybody got mad. It was like, really, y'all potatoes and serve 15 servings of fries. Like, I just said, there, y'all are miraculous. Thank you. That's the way I had to see it. But anyway, tipping. People want to be tipped for everything. So if someone starts dancing or they playing the drums or something and you're being entertained, they expect a tip. And then the difference though with tipping there is you don't want to leave your tip on the table at restaurants. You want to collect your tip. Everybody at your table should collect your tip and hand it to, like, if there's a hostess or a manager, so that they can distribute the tip. Because sometimes someone will grab the tips and not share them with the other people who are serving you. So that was one thing we found out too. don't just leave tips on the table. What's happening with my thing here? There. Yeah, so that was about the last thing I wanted to cover, and I've gone over time. I wanted to just take a minute of your time. But any other questions before I go? Um, those are the main things that people have asked me about and things that I've wanted to share. Don't let the media have you thinking that Africa or Ghana is the jungle or something like that. Um, there's some beautiful areas, there's some nice beaches, there's some good shopping, some wonderful food, some beautiful people, and it is your heritage, and you need to go and see where you come from. Also, I received some wonderful prayers that I feel like really were highly valuable. We had a couple of chiefs that did prayers over us while we were there, and we also had like we did a. Y'all remember like when we put the leaf in the water? I think it was a leaf, and you prayed over it, and you put it in the water where the ancestors took their last bath. And I feel like my prayers are coming, like they're like happening. So it's a great experience, not to be missed. Okay. All right. Nobody else got anything to say? All right. So some of you have received the link to register for this experience. We are going in December. Dead December, y'all. Dead December. That is the time of year when the way it was explained to me is that a lot of people who live in Ghana and Nigeria are excited to show off what they have done all year. So they come home at that time in December. So it can be crowded. It can be busy, a busy, busy time of year. Lots and lots of parties, lots of celebrities. We saw Vanessa Williams while we were there. We saw, of course, Michael Blackson. And then we saw on our flight, T Pain was right across from me on the flight. Who else? From Love and Hip Hop New York. I can't think of her name, y'all. Mendici and what's his wife name, y'all? Why can't I think of that girl? Oh my God, I can't think of her name. Y'all know her. But they were sitting next to me on the flight or across the aisle from me. Erica Badu was on the flight with some of the lady group. Yandy and Mendici, they were sitting right, but I think it was Mendici. I know Yandy when I see her. I didn't really know him. Who else? Did y'all see anybody else on your flights? We saw Vanessa Williams when we were there. She was actually at one of the same locations where we were. So yeah, December is just a popping time of year for both Ghana and Nigeria. Just a lot going on. There was also the Black Star Line Festival that happened on the 6th. And did any of you guys, maybe some of y'all went? I saw some videos, so maybe some of the people went. That was a big concert. There were over 50,000 people there. And that's what I think T-Pain and Erica Badu were there for that. And then I've seen videos. I know Dave Chappelle was in town. We didn't see him. I didn't see him. Who else? AJ. I know she was there. I think she's actually maybe still there. But anyway, so many people are there at that time of year. So land only means there's not a flight included. Okay. Does not include the flight. So when you look, when you go to register, you'll see another link that will include the flight. And so this time we are gonna do spend time in the Volta region. We didn't get to really explore the Volta region, Glenisa. We passed through, like we just went for the naming ceremony, but this time we'll actually spend some time there. I'm thinking we're gonna spend less time in Kamasi and more time in the Volta region this time. And what else? Let me think. Oh, I'm trying to think what else is there anything else different? That's the main thing, Glenisa. Okay. Oh, and also I want the rabbi to do our tours this time, our castle tour. So I'm talking to him and trying to get that confirmed. And you remember meeting the rabbi, we went to lunch at his wife's restaurant. Uh-huh. You're welcome, Leslie. Do we need two flights now with registration, or can we come back and pick it? Oh, yeah, you could get the flight later. I recommend you get it now. The price that is out there now is the intro price. Those prices are going to change. The prices that are out now are for the first few people who register, and then the price is going to change. So I recommend, and there's a payment plan for all of that. So I recommend you book that. You're welcome, Glenisa. And for those of you who went with me to Ghana this time, if you want to do something else for New Year's Eve, instead of going back to Ghana, I would love to plan that. I asked about Brazil and Nigeria. It seems like a lot are interested in Nigeria. So if you want to do that, if there's enough of you, we will happily go to Nigeria for New Year's Eve. Um, and then I have a separate group going to Ghana. So don't feel like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Ghana because blah blah blah. You may want to go to Ghana in the summertime instead. Okay. So just so you'll know, and then I'm gonna try to post the link. This is for those who have not seen the registration page. Registration is officially now open. Okay, let's see. Okay, there. I hope that goes in there. Y'all see it? So that's the link for those who want to grab early access. The early access pricing is there and it will change at any moment. I don't know when. As soon as the few early birds sign up, then that price will change. Okay. So if you know you want to go ahead and grab that. Okay. And I think that's about it, y'all. Any more questions? I give